Matt, really good occasion today to have a Super League club down at Cougar Park. What are your thoughts from today's game?
Yeah, it's fantastic to get obviously a team like Castleford who are currently 2 divisions above us down to Cougar Park. The crowd was healthy. The event was a fantastic event for Jake and a fitting send off for a career that spans of about 20 years. So yeah, I thought it was a fantastic day, and we actually got a lot out of today. And irrelevant of the scoreline, there was a lot of positives that were taken out from that game.
Just a nod to Jake there. He was aiming for 10-15 minutes in the first half. How many minutes did he play?
He played 40 straight.
Right, okay.
And then he spoke to me at half time. He says, I'll do second half. I'll do 40 second half, and then got cramp 7 minutes in. So yeah, he kind of cut short his second half, but he finished the last 5 minutes, and a bit of cruelness really on Cass's part for not letting him go over at the death there.
Yeah, I think he had a word with Paul McShane there about perhaps just letting him over for that try at the end.
Yeah, well, apparently Paul just said, I can't, mate, I can't. But it's it would have been nice for him. It would have been a fitting way to 79 minutes and 59 seconds on the clock, and he scores a try and then kicks the goal to finish his career. Would have been fantastic, but yeah, not quite.
I think he's had quite the career, and he'd be happy with today, won't he?
Oh, you see, he's a very, very happy man who sort of, buzzing around at the moment. He's still enjoying himself, having a beer with some of the boys and his family and that, and that's that's testament to him. The boys are sticking around, having a drink with him, so that's great.
Back to today's result then. Castleford, a team like that, as you say, 2 divisions above, they will exploit some weaknesses, won't they? And they'll really show up. What have you learned from today?
I've learned that we can sort of hold our own, particularly in that first, was it 17 minutes where we didn't touch the ball? Well, literally we did touch the ball, but we gave the ball away the 2 times we did with poor play the balls. So, pretty much for 17 minutes we defended, and we defended pretty much on our line. So, there was a lot of pride there. They scored 2 tries, but it was only off the back of extreme pressure, and I thought our hunger and our desire to be able to, keep turning up there and keep working for each other is a fantastic commodity that we can really grab onto and move forward into Halifax with.
And there's a 0 at the side of the Cougars score. Does that worry you at all?
No, I was actually the first half particularly. There's a fair few disruptions in the second half with substitutions and things like that, so obviously it affects the flow. But in the first half there, I was really pleased with how genuine we were with our shape and our leads, and we got over the line 2 or 3 times but didn't quite get the ball down. We created space on a couple of times where we didn't quite finish, and there's just a couple of elements of just little bits of timing that are going to get better over weeks and weeks and weeks of training. But the shape and the understanding and the structure was there, and that pleased me.
We saw debuts for Lewis Hatton, Max Lambourne, Mark Ioane this season, his first appearance. How do you feel they went?
Mark was he was in beast mode at times, wasn't he? Physically dominant. I was really pleased with Lewis Hatton. A really strong leg drive with an offload and comes onto the ball and works really well with. He worked really well with Brownie out there today and just really punching in off those tips, and so I was really pleased with them too. I thought Jordan Schofield turned up today as well. Ellis was good across the park. Lachlan Lansky was good and improved this week. I was pleased with a lot of them.
Any injuries to report from today's game?
A couple of niggles. Our fullbacks couldn't stay on the field today, but nothing serious. Brandon Pickersgill got a bit of a hip knock. We'll just sort of rest that up a little bit. I'm sure he'll be back ready next week. And Oscar Thomas got a cork on his thigh, so we put Billy Walkley in there at the death, and he came away with, I think, a couple of stitches under his eye.
There was definitely a few walking wounded at half time. I seen 3 or 4 lads with cuts to the faces.
Yeah, so I wonder how they'll go when we're tackling under the armpit next year.
We'll talk about that later, but yeah, so from today, you pleased but not pleased?
It'd been nice to get on the scoreboard. I think that the attitude of the shape that we threw probably deserved a try, and we created opportunities to be able to get that try. But still, I'm more pleased with what we were doing with that shape, and and how we challenged a Super League defence who I thought turned up and worked really hard today.
Yeah, they were ready to play, weren't they?
Absolutely, they were, and they came strong. They played with 20, so they didn't have the the instructions they wanted to be able to get that connection. What have you? And you saw that in the second half. So
Yeah, I thought Joe Westerman and Milky as well linked quite well, didn't they, in the halves?
yeah, Joe was really good at squaring and then being able to hold an A and B and be able to hit those leads or out the back. And he broke in the second half, particularly Joe Westerman broke us down a fair bit.
And you've got Paul McShane in there as well, who's got all the years of experience.
Yeah, and he was making good decisions out of the dummy half. They sort of they went away with it a little bit because they won the ruck in that second half. They won the play the ball area, and the speed of that play the ball didn't allow us to defend at and our markers, which is something we'll be addressing when we look at the video this week. So we need to improve that a little bit. But that first half and the defensive resolve that we showed and how we sort of managed the physicality of that defence was pleasing. And
it feels like we're back in season again. We've got a week to the next game. Yeah. Halifax in town. That'll pose a different test as well. They've reshaped their squad this year. A few big names in there. Obviously, Widdop probably looking for his first hit out. Greg Eden. Yep. What are you expecting from that? Are you just looking internally at our boys?
Expecting more improvement. The Halifax look after Halifax, and Keighley will look after us. So, I'm looking at more improvement from our guys. A little bit more. Work on our timing still, and add a little bit more depth to our attacking shape, and add a little bit more to sort of try out and see how that goes against Halifax, and again get more minutes into the players' legs and get them battle ready for the season ahead.
Brilliant. Thanks, Matt.
No worries. Thank you.